Africa has announced that it will pull its troops out of the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, bringing to a close of a 27-year military deployment that began in the late 1990s. President Cyril Ramaphosa informed UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres about the decision, saying the move is part of a broader effort to reorganize and strengthen the country's defense capabilities. Now, the UN's UNESCO operation was first established to help stabilize conflict-torn regions in the DRC. The withdrawal is expected to be completed before the end of the year. The South African National Defence Force, the National Defence's Union Chief, National Negotiator, that's Jeff Dubazana, joins us now for more of a chat on this. Jeff, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. Just wanted to get your sense of what it is you understand fully by this withdrawal. It's not necessarily brand new, is it? Is it not something that's been happening for a little bit of time now? Do we know how many troops are still in the DRC?
Thanks, Pamatayo, for inviting us here. And thanks for the opportunity to air our view as a union. Look, this is it's a day of reckoning for our country. Our defense is at the tip. Now we need to come back home and, start rebuilding our capacity and our capabilities. Not so long ago, just last year, early January, we had a very unfortunate, incident in the very same DRC that led to some of our members losing their own lives, all simply because of the defunding of the budget. Now, if you could recall very well, this deployment started around 1990. Then in 1990, our human resource within the department was plus minus 270 soldiers. As we are standing currently, we are about between 65 and 70,000 soldiers. I'm not going to be talking about our capabilities. Everything is almost going down. Surely we need to come back and start rebuilding.
Okay, so 70,000 at max was the number of soldiers there, and the completion of this is anticipated to be done by the end of this year. Are you able to share just a little bit more with regards to the reasoning here? I know that the wording that is used ultimately is around ensuring the capabilities of the DRC are then continued to be built up, etc. Was there any other undue influence that may have caused this?
Ravi, this is not a simple matter. The defunding of the budget of the Defense Force is a serious issue. Just now, recently, within the deployments that are happening internally, soldiers do not have diesel to fill, trucks to carry them from one point to the other. That shows you how serious the situation the Defense Force is facing in terms of capabilities and its capacity. So yes, the main reason why we are withdrawing is simply because of, one, the issue of the capacity, but secondly, the issue of capacity.
Okay, with that in mind, if we continue to have had further capacity, if we were further capacitated as the SANDF, and maybe even in future, if the prospects of the SANDF do actually get a little bit better, does that increase any chances that, there'd be a reason enough to actually go back into the DRC? Because one can't necessarily say it's mission accomplished, right?
Look, in terms of MONUSCO and in terms of SADC, we have failed the people of the DRC. The war is still ongoing. When this mission of UNESCO started in 1999, it was to establish peace, forcefully for that matter. We have failed. As the SADC, same thing, same in DRC, we have failed the people of SADC. in terms of why we failed, and in both these missions, South Africa was one of the leading countries in those missions. As a country, we simply failed because of what the SANDF used to be. It is not what it is today. And that's something that needs to be seriously looked into. And the first step of doing that, you know, the budget cycle is coming to an end. It should be displayed within this coming budget cycle.
Yeah, one imagines then that there's so much that we, as you said, have left on the table here. Are there risks of instability now? Because as you've said, we've failed them. The unrest is not over. The war is effectively not over in that area, especially with the phased approach that we might be having right now to this withdrawal. And how does the SANDF play a part in mitigating any of those risks to instability?
As of now, we are in no position to can do that. Up until we rebuild the SANDF to its former glory days, rebuild the machinery, rebuild the human resource, we are in no position to be precipitating in foreign deployments.
So that means then the current troops that were deployed there will now be sitting at home. I would imagine that there wouldn't be an immediate redeployment of those soldiers because of, as the things you've made note of, budgetary constraints and issues.
Like I said, Arabile, this should serve as a lesson. As I've indicated, in 1998, the human resource strength of the SANDF was almost 280,000 soldiers. Currently, we are standing at between 60 and 70,000 soldiers. We're supposed to be, these 70,000 soldiers, we're supposed to be a very strong and effective defense force. But simply because of there was parallel to the reduction of the strength of the the defunding of the budget. Now that needs to be corrected with immediate effect.
Yeah, because then the question becomes, what does this mean for other deployments that the SANDF are currently involved in? Are those not also said to be impacted quite negatively with us possibly seeing a withdrawal of some troops from other areas?
Arabile, if the budget is not correct, we cannot afford any, at least for now, any foreign deployment. We should only look within the country. And whilst looking within the country, correcting the issue of the budget.
So do you think then that means that South Africa's broader defense and peacekeeping strategy now has to be completely weakened, if not written off in some ways, considering the notes that you're making here, Jeff, because it feels as though we've played a very historic role when it comes to the DRC, not completed the task at hand, of course, but especially within SADC and the AU framework. We were supposed to be a big part of that, but our broader defense strategy seems to now have to fall away.
Arabila, this is a self-inflicted thing. When we started restructuring the defense force, what we were supposed to do was to come out with a very strong and effective defense force. But now we find ourselves with a seriously weakened defense force as a result of this budget funding of the defense force. As I've said, now it is time, for us to record. And the only way of doing that reintrospection is to start by making sure that we increase the budget of the defense so that we are able to rebuild all those things that are missing, that are currently missing within the defense force.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big question marks to that, though, Jeff, is even if we were to then fix things up for ourselves budgetary-wise, would any of those countries actually trust us because we've now left them in the lurch prior to that?